Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 233 of the Drunk Dash Nerd podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler. I am doing fine. Unlike last week and stuff where I had hardly anything to play, this week is sort of different. But to put things into perspective, I actually started playing 3 different games this week.
Nice. Very cool.
As well as, say, figuring out how to connect my PS4 controller to Steam. To be perfectly honest, though, ever since the update, this past summer, where Sony allowed Steam to access and, use, the DualShock 4 in order to play games on Steam, I basically spent a good part of, the beginning of this evening going through the process, which is incredibly simple, actually. You just go through the picture mode, you go through and, go through the controller settings, you click the little box and stuff that has a couple options. You can either use it for Steam controller, Xbox One, or PS4, and basically it's just as easy as that. But, oh yeah, man, I'm doing fine. Work's been pretty decent. God, man, I'm still waiting for Mario Odyssey by the end of this month. That's for sure.
2 weeks.
I know. That's the only game I'm really looking forward to this month coming out.
Aww.
Well, hey, there's a lot of good games and stuff, but at the same point, I know South Park, but I'm still I'm still playing the fucking Stick of Truth. But hey, man, how have you been doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing okay. I'm on the plant at work, shut down for this past Saturday night, by the way, if people don't know. From this past Friday and this coming Monday, so I got a 4-day weekend. So that's nice. Actually, last weekend, Justin and I, on Sunday, kind of crossed something off, I guess, our bucket list. I don't really know what you want to call it. But something we've been talking about for years and years and years and years and years that we want to do. Remember looking at the advertisements for it back in Nintendo Power when we were teenagers. We went and saw the Zelda Symphony. They finally, for the first time ever, came here to Iowa. They came to Des Moines here, downtown. And we went and saw that Sunday night, and it was really cool. It was Justin and I were talking about afterwards, and it's weird though because we didn't know what to do during the event. The music's playing, it's beautiful music. We love the music. I at times Justin and I were talking, we both not knowingly close our eyes and just sit there and listen to the music. But when we were sitting there watching it, it's they have a big screen above where they're playing, and it shows whatever song they're playing to. They're playing the music to that song, and you'll see a trailer or you see some gameplay of that song, and the song kind of matches up with what's going on in the video.
Nice.
Excuse me. And it was do we watch the orchestra or do we watch the screen? I didn't know what to do. I personally watch the screen most of the time, but
yeah, that's just natural.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was a really cool thing, and listening to some music, and they did an encore, and they actually played towards the end. They did Link's Awakening was the second to last song, which I didn't see coming. They did Oracle. They pretty much did, I think pretty much every Zelda game was covered.
Nice.
Outside of the CDI ones, unfortunately. I wish they would have covered those ones. That's all I cared about.
That would actually be pretty funny.
No, it was cool though. I never played Skyward Sword, and listening to music from that one was cool. And I've seen some gameplay here and there, but never actually. But just kind of seeing the video on the screen and listening to the music was cool. my two personal favorites. So Majora's Mask was actually probably my favorite because I think that's probably my favorite music from any Zelda game. But two of the ones the music I was most excited to listening to was Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
And they actually had played two songs from Breath of the Wild. And I think it was the only game that got multiple songs played. It was like one of the first songs, and it was the very last song.
Nice.
And it was incredible. They were awesome. If you are a Zelda fan and you like the music, and they come to your town, it's definitely it is worth the time and the money. Not a super long event, like 2.5 hours, which was fine for me. It's a Sunday night. Had to get up early, but yeah, it was cool. It was I definitely I don't know if it's necessarily something I would go see again if they came in town, but it's something I'm glad I went and saw. I was telling Justin afterwards,
Yeah.
I'd like to go to like a symphony where they played just a bunch of different music from video games instead of just one specific one. Because really, outside of like music that I'd go see an orchestra for, there's not really a lot of single franchises or games I go see. So if they did like best music from good games orchestra, that'd be cool to see. But yeah, it was awesome. I know Justin enjoyed it quite a bit too. Yeah, that was fun. On Friday, Evil Within 2 came out. And like I mentioned, I have Friday and Monday off, so that worked out perfectly for me. But it actually worked even better. I thought it was perfect, but then it turned out to actually be perfect because I got a call from GameStop, who I pre-ordered from, that they were selling the game at 9 o'clock at night on Thursday night. So I'm like, sweet. Instead of waiting until 10 in the morning to go pick it up, I can just pick it up tonight, play it tonight on Thursday night, and then get up whenever I get up. Friday morning, usually get 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and play that instead. And it was funny. It was probably I've been to a handful of midnight sales or 9, because like nowadays they do a lot of 9 p.m. sales, and I've been to probably half dozen of those over the last couple of years, and this was easily the weirdest one I've been to. So I got there, and there was surprisingly a lot of people. What I completely forgot about that, not only was Evil Within coming out, which I think, sorry, I'm moving my chair. I think there's probably 20 people there.
Yeah.
I'd say more than half were there for, probably about half were there for Evil Within 2, but I didn't realize that WWE 2K18, the special edition, came out Friday. The regular edition comes out Tuesday. And then I think probably about the other half. I was actually, I take it back. I'd say more than half were there for WWE. Probably the other one, everybody else was there probably for Evil Within 2. But also Friday the 13th came out on Friday the 13th as well. Worked out for them. But someone mentioned wrestling, and it turned into like internet wrestling Twitter, where like because at this point I didn't realize I was so confused because I'm like, I get we're nerds, a lot of nerds like wrestling. A lot of people like video games, and they also like wrestling. But this is before I realized WWE 2K18 was coming out, and I'm just like, it just turned into like the weirdest like shout. No one was like angry, but everybody was shouting, and I'm just like, I was wearing a hoodie, and I realized my hoodie was unzipped, and I was wearing my Daniel Bryan wrestling shirt, and I'm just like, oh fuck. So I turned around and I slowly zipped the hoodie up. Like, keep me out of this, because like they were going around asking opinions. I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, it was like the weirdest. Like, people were arguing about Neville and John Cena versus Roman Reigns. It was, oh my god, it was interesting to say the least. I'm just like,
Where the fuck are you people?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh good.
I just
Lord.
want the Evil Within 2. Oh, don't notice the shirt.
Yeah, and I got there like 8:35. I don't know why, and it was just like a half an hour, and like the two people working there were also the ones that got it rolling, and they kept it rolling, and they're like arguing about the game while trying to check people out. I'm just like, just check the fucking people out. I want the game. I want to get out of here, please. And it was bad. Then people were like, oh man, it was. It turned into like people like one-upping each other on wrestling behind the scenes knowledge, like who was the biggest like smart mark kind of thing, and
trying to increase the wrestling penis. Anyway,
yeah, pretty much it was just like it was penis contest is all it was, and I was like, this is like I like talking about wrestling with people and all that, but like I don't want to talk about it with you guys, And I just got my game. I got the fuck out of there as soon as I could. But another interesting thing on top of that was there's this guy that was there, and when he was wearing a Friday the 13th Jason shirt.
Yeah.
And it was and I asked him oh, you here to get Friday the 13th? He's like, no, I did the Kickstarter for it. I'm like, oh really? How? I'm like, so which one did you get? And I was asking him what you got for it and all that. And he told me he paid $60 and he got the physical edition, collector edition, when they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I heard they got delayed and all that. And I'm like, because it came out Friday the 13th came out digitally a few months ago. I think back in June.
Yes, yes, it did.
And then it came out physically, this past Friday, obviously. And I was talking to him about that because I heard it got delayed. This has come out at launch with the digital game, but then it got delayed. And I'm like, hey, when did you get it? And he's like, oh, I still haven't got it yet.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, so wait, how much? How much did you pay for this? So mind you, the game is $40. It's out now. He paid for the Kickstarter $60.
Wow.
And he still doesn't have the game. I guess it came out. It's gonna be out. They're gonna be getting it got delayed. The Kickstarter ones got delayed. They're gonna give him some extra magnets and stickers and stuff like that to make up for it. Yeah. So, but I guess they're getting it. I think towards the end of the month now instead. So it's be a week or two late. But yeah, just that was kind of an interesting thing. When I was talking to him about that, I was just like, I knew it got delayed, but I didn't know it was still. I thought people got it by terrible. Now. Yeah, but I was like, he's like, yeah, I love. He's telling me he loves horror movies. He's a big Hollywood Halloween fan and Jason and Freddy and all those, and he was pretty mad about it, which understandably so. You support him and you actually pay more money. It's the game's $40 in stores. You paid $60 years ago, and you still haven't got the game yet before everybody else got the game. So, yeah, kind of crappy, but I thought it was kind of an interesting story. All in all, a very interesting event for me. Not really an event, but moment in my gaming life that I don't want to relive again, to say the least. I'd rather play Unravel than go back to that. Yeah, but before we get into everything else, I want to talk about it real quick again. And if you're sick or tired of hearing about this, I don't really care. You're going to hear about it for the next few weeks. And it's for a good cause, so I don't have a problem doing it. So 3 weeks from tonight, 3 weeks from today, as of this recording, it is going to be Extra Life. It's on November 4th. Saturday, November 4th, starts about, the typical time is 9 a.m. your time. 25-hour marathon, 24, 25, whatever you're up to, whatever you feel like doing. A marathon, a video game marathon, raising money for sick kids all around the world. All the money raised goes to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. You could pick the hospital in the United States that you want to support. Put it out there, send the links out. People will support you, donate money to you. You can donate money to other people if you want to, and raise money. All the money goes to good causes. I think it's a really cool event. Extra-life.org is his website. If you want to support us personally, I'm Tyler Courtney on there. Just go to the extra-life.org. In the top right is a search. Just go up there, type in my name, and you'll find me and donate to me, please. Or you can also donate to Gabe Backno, Gables. All the money I earn goes to Iowa City Children's Miracle Network hospitals. All the money that Gables raises goes to the Seattle hospital. So 100% of the money goes to them. It's a really cool event. It happens once a year. It is my favorite day of the year. It's my Christmas as an adult. So yeah, it's a cool event. Thousands of people do it every year. Raises tens of millions of dollars every year. Check it out if you don't interested in doing it yourself. If you have some people play video games, tell them about it. To spread the word. It's a really cool, really fun thing that us and other people do. Moving on to the actual meat and potatoes of the show. We are a video game podcast, obviously. And also a podcast where I like to drink beer. Currently today, I'm drinking a very weird beer, I gotta say. It is a Samuel Adams spicy and sweet notes beer. It's got cinnamon in it. Nutmeg.
Good luck with that.
It's super weird. I've been I got them last week. I drank one. I'm like, it's all right. And I'm kind of choking.
Well,
down
let me
the rest
ask
of
you
them.
this, Tyler. Every time you drink things with cinnamon in it, do you get flashbacks of drinking the Fireball?
Well, I didn't till now.
I'm just wondering, it's That's just one of the main things. Like, you're just drinking a cinnamon drink, and all of a sudden just have random flashbacks to you drinking that Fireball whiskey.
Yeah, I can taste the Fireball now. Let me say something. See, I had a beer and a half left of this choke down. I don't know if I can do it now. So you might have just ruined it for me.
Unintentionally by chance, but it was just funny that you're just drinking something cinnamon related.
Unintentionally, sure, Gables. We'll go with that. Gables is really mean. I don't know if you know those people. He's a really mean person.
Oh God, not
No.
Now you gotta choke it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try drinking those. Yeah, it's Fireball. Oh God. So much, Gables. Okay, we gotta move on here so I can forget about that and then drink the rest of this beer without thinking about Fireball. All right. So like I said, we were a podcast where we drank beer. Now we are no longer that. Now we're just a couple nerds talking about video games. Way to go! You took away our one unique thing. And now we're just a regular video game podcast.
I didn't say you could stop drinking beer unless you have flashbacks of fucking Fireball every time you drink something.
No, you ruined beer for me forever. Alcohol is. I'm going to ban it from my system.
Oh,
forever.
I don't think you're going to do that.
Welcome to episode 233 of the Dash Nerds podcast, where we just talk about nerd stuff. Thanks a lot. That's what we're calling now, Dash Nerds. No, anyways, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. Now I really want meat and potatoes. Sounds kind of good. Burrito. Ooh, yeah. Anyways, god damn it. Let's jump into some news real quick. Not a lot going on this week. Couple of things I want to go over real quick. One, that's kind of a big event. I mean, not a big event, a big thing, I think, is the first Super Mario Odyssey review has come out. Edge magazine, I think it's in the UK, I want to say, got the first review out there. It actually kind of leaked a few days early. The score did 10 out of 10, his first review. No big surprise there. They are notorious for giving Nintendo games 10 out of 10s. Not saying there's anything there to it, just saying they are notorious for giving Nintendo games 10 out of 10s. Breath of the Wild did earlier this year, and there's been a few others as well. But a lot of interesting things came out of that review. A couple things I want to go over real quick is that I think the biggest thing coming out of it is that they're saying, so the power moons you get in this game, so like you're not getting the suns anymore, the stars, you're now getting power moons. And they said there are almost as many power moons in this game as there are Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild.
Oh no!
And there's 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. So we're talking 800, 700.
Well, bye Justin.
Power moons. Yeah. He's still playing Breath of the Wild.
He's still collecting the Korok seeds, isn't he?
I guess he still plays it. He's done everything in that game except get the Korok seeds. So he's still playing that game. He's put I think over 160 hours now at this point into that game, and still going strong. And now Mario Odyssey is coming out, and that's gonna have nearly as many. And I think he loves Mario just as much, if not more, than Zelda. So I think that's it's pretty surprising to me. I was reading about things. I guess there's over 50 different people you can take over as Cappy in the game. So different enemies, things like that. You don't actually have to use the cap if you don't want. Excuse me, if you don't want to. Burping up Fireball now. Like my body's rejecting the cinnamon. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I was reading the kind of I can't read the review, but I found one of the websites, and they were doing some quick hits of that. And I thought that was the thing that stood out to me the most. Is just how many. I can't believe that. I remember Justin getting all the stars in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I remember when I think Super Mario Galaxy 2 had 251 stars, and he put
wow,
probably 100 hours in that game. I remember him and me sat there for like 6-7 hours just getting like the
Oh.
last 3 stars in that game. Just the last 3. Collecting the last one was insane. In that game, and it's just like now this game's gonna have hundreds of them, and a lot of them are like secret ones, like secrets. You gotta find them. Like I was actually watching a little video, and someone went to like they found this little hidden world they can go into, and like inside the hidden world where they're getting the power moon, they found a second power moon hidden in the hidden world. Yeah, so now they got like power moons hidden inside the hidden
Oh my
areas
God.
of these other power moons. So yeah, like this, like the more I watch this game, it's just like insane to me. Like people are like going off to these weird places. I'm like, where are they going? Oh my God, there's a whole section over there. Yeah. So yeah. Goodbye, Gables and Justin. I'm gonna be doing the show by myself. Come November, it's just gonna be me. It's gonna become like my worst nightmare. The saddest podcast ever. Tyler talking for 20 minutes by himself.
Well, I just pet my dog today. No, I'm just going here and drinking my Fireball whiskey.
Yeah. Yep, drinking Fireball whiskey, playing Wolfenstein 2, and pet my dog. Yeehaw!
But in all seriousness, though, that is interesting. Those tidbits coming out of the Edge review, because just the thought of like there being like multiple different types of like say layers upon worlds and stuff when it comes to collecting these moons and these power moons and doing a lot of various things with it. God bless, man. That's so much depth inside of a typical Mario game.
Yeah. They said they Breath of the Wild Mario is what this is.
Well, I'm certainly glad that it's not in like Mario 64 when it comes to like say collecting one power star and then going out into the overworld.
Yeah, so this one is just they're not really open world. It's not really open world, but there's multiple open. I think 13. I want to say open environments you can go into. You just go in there and just do that. So and there's and I guess they came out with some more news about the I guess all of the amiibo do something in the game now.
Really?
Every single one will do something. I think like the Mario Odyssey specific amiibos do like unlock like the wedding costume outfits.
Oh.
But I think all the other amiibo also do something as well. But no information. I don't think there's any information on what they actually do specifically as far as if they're coins or the power moons, what they are exactly. But yeah, a lot of details coming out here lately about that game. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah, I think this is gonna be the first Mario game I've ever bought at launch. So I am pretty excited about this. It's gonna be fun.
Oh my God, you know what? This is gonna be now that I think about it, this is gonna be my first console Mario game buying at launch since I want to say 3D World. 3D
Damn.
World, yeah. Super Mario 3D World. Yeah. Now that I think about it, that was like a number of years ago now.
2013?
Yeah. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. It's hard to think about it that game was that long ago, but it's like...
It's a great game.
It's definitely a great game. It's one of the best games on the Wii U, but...
man, it created the best character in video game history in Captain Toad, so...
Oh, that's very true. He's definitely one of the best characters in that game, and not only that, he got his own spin-off series. But now that I think back and stuff, I've made it a point to buy console Mario games at their launch. I mean, I did it with Sunshine, I did it with like a New Super Mario Brothers Wii and stuff, Galaxy. Oh my God, I remember pre-ordering Galaxy and stuff and like getting that phone call from GameStop. It's like, hey, you pre-ordered Super Mario Galaxy. That person that sounded like fucking Mario or something like on the phone and stuff. I got my collector's coin still from Mario Galaxy.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think Justin has that too. I think he went specifically to that store. I think it was GameStop. I want to say, yeah.
Yep.
And he got the coin. Actually, Best Buy has the exclusive deal right now where you get it through them. You get a coin for them as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
My gosh, it's like Mario Odyssey. It definitely looks like it's the natural evolution of Mario Galaxy. So that is, in and of itself, mind-blowing and exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. I'm at this point now. When I read that, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna because what sucks is like the two biggest Nintendo games of the year, Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, coming out maybe two of the biggest Nintendo games of all time come out at the same time.
I know.
As another game that I am super looking like. Horizon was one of the most look forward to games of the year for me. Comes out 3 days before Breath of the Wild. Now the same day as that, maybe the third or fourth most look forward to game for me this year, and Wolfenstein 2 comes out. And it's like, well, fuck.
What did I tell you?
So,
it's like, Tyler,
yeah.
what did I tell you, both you and Justin? It's like almost every 10 years there seems to be something that happens. Like, say, 1997, that was a big year in gaming. 2007 was the same thing. And now 2017, it's like games upon games upon games that are fantastic. We just literally came out of, like, last couple of years where, okay, maybe there was, like, maybe a handful of games that we consider great games and stuff. But this year is different. It's like we have multiple great games released in a year span, and I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, and it's spread out over the year. It's not just like everything hit the holiday season too. Yeah, it's like it was funny. Like remember we talked about last year. Like last year, 2016 to me was like the year of surprises, and this is like the year of when like every video game ever lived up to the hype.
I know.
Like no game. I don't think there was any game like big AAA game that
Tyler,
came out with a lot of hype around it that didn't live up to it.
Literally, the last year that I could actually remember that had this many hits one after another was way back at 2007 when the Xbox 360 was finally getting into the swing of things. Releases of the games like Half-Life 2, the Orange Box came out on the 360. You had BioShock, you had Mass Effect, you had like all these other
Rock Band, Call of Duty 4, Super Mario Galaxy.
All of those games came out in 2007, and all of those games not only lived up to the hype, but they defined the generation for the gamers that came out. Yeah.
This might be it here too. Crazy couple weeks coming up here.
Oh, definitely. Because you had... Oh, just go ahead. Go through what's going to be released in a couple weeks here.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got, Evil Within 2 came out this past week. Maybe not the biggest deal, but it's a big deal to me. You got South Park coming out on Tuesday. WW2K18 is also out this Tuesday. What was it? Next, then you have... there's something coming out, I think, on the 20th as well. I can't think of. But then, you get the 27th where you got Assassin's Creed, which that's like the forgotten game of October 27th. And then you got, Mario Odyssey and then Wolfenstein 2. So... And then after that, the week after that, you got Call of Duty World War II. And then right after that, you got Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay, let me put this in perspective for our listeners listening into the show right at the moment. For me, personally, I look at it as a year of the biggest, kind of like the biggest surprises in terms of how much quality is hitting in one year. But I think of it as this way, where... Not only do we have, like, great games, but I can just literally name off, like, about 5 to 10 games released just this year that not only live up to the hype, but are fantastic games. We're talking about games like, say, Horizon Zero Dawn. Resident Evil 7 is definitely looking like it's going to be Game of the Year material, too, for what it's definitely going through. Nier Automata, kind of a niche RPG and stuff, but that's been... getting not only rave reviews, but people absolutely love the shit out of that. I got a couple good friends that absolutely love that game and that series. Then you have like Horizon Zero Dawn. Did I already say that?
Yeah.
Okay, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm talking about Persona 5 now that I think about it.
Yeah, Persona 5. There's another PS4 exclusive that came out right. I always get that and Nier mixed up.
Oh my gosh, that other one, the PS4 exclusive. Jesus criminy!
I can't remember what it's called. I always forget about it. But yeah, you got Hellblade, Cuphead.
Yep.
You've freaking.
Let's see.
Not all the games coming out here soon. So
not just Cuphead and stuff. You have Destiny 2. You also have
Destiny 2. Yeah.
Like Metroid, Samus Returns that just like released not too long ago and stuff. But hell, even the Danganronpa. Like 3. That game has received some very fantastic reviews as well, and it's also like something I want to get to, hopefully.
It's funny because I think it's crazy to me is that a lot of games that might be in people's honorable mentions might be a lot of other people's game of the year. That's how big of a year this is. So yeah, it's been a fun year for gaming. It's going to continue on to be for the next month or so. But let's go ahead and move on real quick. Got a plane flying over here. Bill Trent's getting a little upset. I picked Wolfenstein 2 over Mario Odyssey. Hopefully you didn't hear that comment, guys. I'm really sorry. But moving on. Cuphead. We talked about a lot over the last couple weeks. I officially tapped out to it live on in audio on the podcast last week. Has officially hit over 1 million copies sold. Yeah. So they kind of one of the director of the game, Chad Moldenhauer, I believe is how you say his name, kind of came out and said that we have worked tirelessly over the past few years to deliver a game that remained true to our vision, and we are both humbled and excited that so many people from around the world are playing Cuphead. It truly makes it all worth it. Yeah. So this is it's a really interesting story where I think it was only 4 or 5 guys. It's the first time they really made a game. It's hand drawn in an animation. They wrote all the code of this themselves. And when Microsoft came in to come help them, when they wanted to give them when they gave them exclusivity to Microsoft, give them the sizzle reel and all that information, and give them some advertisement, Microsoft kind of came in to kind of help out a little bit. And when they looked at the code and looked at everything, it's like, how did you make this? What are you guys using? This, they didn't use this is all their own shit, and they kind of did it in a bass backwards kind of way. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, these guys all took an extra mortgage out on their house to make this game, pay for this game.
I know.
And now they have. It looks like it's paying off for them. So that's really cool. Really cool thing. Maybe not something everybody should do. But these guys had a vision. They stuck to it. And it looks like it's going to work out for them. I mean, I talk about, it's a great, fantastic game that I'm just unfortunately not good enough to playing. But it seems like everybody across the board is even if someone like me, a lot of people are in the same boat as me. It was it's super hard and I can't beat it, but we all respect it and we all love it. So that's really great to hear. I think it's getting in the high 8s and 9s on pretty much everywhere for reviews. So really cool story, and I'm happy these people seem to be recovering financially and hopefully mentally and physically. Excuse me, burping up Fireball again. And mentally and physically from the 4 or 5 years. I mean, this was shown off as a Xbox One launch event. They showed off this game for the first time. So over 4 years now, probably 5 years of development. It looks like it's going to work out for him. So yeah, cool little story there. A little a Rocky kind of story. It's came out of nowhere and shocked the world, as it were. And seems like they're going to come out looking good in this situation. But yeah, I just want to mention it. Moving on to one other thing I want to talk about. Kind of a bigger thing. Loot boxes. Yeah, it's been a thing for a long time now in gaming, and it's eked over. I mean, it's been talked about for free-to-play games for years and years and years on cell phones, stuff like that. But now it's been eking over the last handful of years over into $60
AAA major games.
Some Jim Sterling has cleverly coined fee to pay. Kind of a clever little term there. Basically, games that cost money out of the gate, and then you got to pay additional money to get other things in the game. And it's getting this year. It seems like, and we talked about it a little bit before the show, but you kind of summed it up pretty well, where you said that microtransactions and DLC, or not DLC, but loot boxes are all these great games are coming out, and the loot boxes and everything like that are overshadowing these games. As all these great games are coming out, and a lot of people are talking about is the loot boxes. And a lot of people are getting mad. A lot of people are voting with their wallets, not going to support the games that support loot boxes and microtransactions, things like that. But I'm kind of curious what I mean. I got my own opinions, and I've heard a lot of other people's opinions on it. I'm kind of curious what your overall thoughts are on the kind of where the industry is going with these things.
In order to understand the concept of my viewpoint upon loot boxes, I look at the entirety of how games are structured as it is right now in terms of what major publishers are going through and doing their price points while releasing games. Currently, you have $60 standard editions. Then sometimes you have maybe a deluxe edition, which is sometimes around $70, maybe $80, and then there are some games that even have another edition that usually either is $100, or maybe in WWE 2K18's a case $150, where you have all these random DLCs, all these like extra superlatives and stuff that the publisher had put in, maybe like, you know, the John Cena action figure and the whole autograph this and that. I mean, yeah, that's all well and good and stuff, but inside, and what other gamers have had issues with, is with the standard sort of $60 games, you're left with sometimes feeling like you're getting a shell of like what you initially paid for. And what I mean by shell is sometimes you play a game, a $60 game that you just bought, and all of a sudden it feels like there's content not only just missing, but it feels like there's other aspects of the game that's just starting to get a little bit more grimier in terms of like what you could like basically enjoy. And by means of grimier sort of like feel and stuff, there are random things that pop up in sort of modern games today that I personally think that is like, they can be decent if used correctly, but with things like microtransactions and for loot boxes, I kind of feel like it's sort of a double-edged sword with both. Sometimes DLC is, sometimes like additional DLC can be like this too, but how I feel currently with, say, loot boxes, I personally don't give a shit about loot boxes. I don't generally go for and use them. I'm not the type of person that goes and pays extra for a game, unless it's a game I absolutely enjoy and I will go through and get the DLC for if I want to. But in terms of, say, games that use loot boxes rather well, I kind of feel that Overwatch has a great implementation of, say, a loot boxing system to where you could use points that you've earned, say, by playing matches online, and you go through and you can unlock these loot boxes that unlock, say, extra voices for specific characters, or maybe like extra gear, maybe some banners, or whatever the hell that Blizzard has hid inside there. None of which really affect the modern gameplay itself for the online modes. Now, an example of things that are kind of sort of like in the dark gray matter of these loot boxes are games supported like games sort of like Shadow of War, where you basically, not just Shadow of War, but like games like also, say, Star Wars Battlefront 2, where that's starting to kind of blur the lines in terms of like sort of being like sort of a pay to win sort of option, sort of say, where for a game like Battlefield 2 there are now like random things that could eventually affect online play, despite what the developer has stated, you know, not just the developer but like the publisher EA has stated beforehand, where it's like level capped or something to specific items, specific weapons and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm of the opinion to where if you're going to implement loot boxes inside of your game on top of like this microtransactions, where at its worst could potentially even ruin the enjoyment of like the game itself. I mean, I look at not WWE, but I look at NBA 2K18, for example, with the whole My Character sort of story mode, where even like some like editing of like the character's basic things that you could do in other games, like editing the character's look, a clothes, of shoes, and having to pay little micro, like pennies in the dollar just to change that. That's not okay. That is absolutely horseshit. But in terms of just overall in general, I may not care about loot boxes, but at the same point and stuff, they can be adequately used well. That's pretty much how I feel in a nutshell about loot boxes and stuff like that in general. But what do you think, Tyler?
I'm pretty much all there with you. I think do I necessarily like the idea of loot boxes? No. Do I want to pay extra for something I've already paid $60 for? Of course not. But like you said, Overwatch, I mean, that was a point I was going to make, because Overwatch is the closest, I think, to perfect as we've gotten with this, where it's like, yeah, it sucks. Something that used to be free and come with games all the time is no longer free. Buying extra costumes, voice lines, little logo things for your character emblems, you know? Like that stuff is all in loot boxes now. I mean, that's the closest. The only complaint I have with it really is that the biggest complaint I have is that you can get repeats, and when you get repeats, they give you a small amount of money for currency. You can buy other stuff in the game, and that stuff. That's like the grossest thing to it, and it is pretty gross to me. But I mean, as far as like anybody like where I can point to as the best example for it, I mean they're it, and they're really maybe the only really good one. Like NBA 2K18 is probably the most disgusting to me. Like it's been a problem
Agreed.
for probably about a decade. I remember playing it on the 360. I don't buy it every year, but I buy it every couple of years. I pick it up and play it. I love playing the Superstar mode. Back in the day, I played a lot, and the whole game was based like your Superstar was like awful when you first started playing, and it would take you a season and a half, couple maybe 2 seasons before you got actually really good at the game. Before you came like your character's ratings got really so you can be really good, which that can take you anywhere from 20 to 100 hours before you got there, maybe even longer, depending on how long the games are you play, and how much time you invest in your customization of it. And so if you want to get quicker, you spend $20 or something like that, and your character is going to go from garbage to pretty good pretty quickly. And it's gotten worse and worse. I mean, the last one I really bought was 2K14, and it got worse in there, and it was like, I don't even want to play this anymore. And like it even spilled over into like a franchise mode where it's like, if you want your general manager to be better, you can spend coins in the game, but you can buy if you don't want to wait to earn these coins, you can just buy coins of real money. And it was like the prices were just high enough where it take you just long enough where you're like, maybe I want to spend $10 to do that. And in this one, 2K18, it's really bad where it's like, yeah, like you have to pay like $250 in real money for if you want for a certain haircut or for a certain piece of clothing that your character doesn't even wear in the actual 99% of the game you play. He's wearing his basketball jersey. The only time you're going to see the uniform or the suit or whatever you paid for him is in cutscenes, which are a few and far between.
Tyler, just to mention something though, you mentioned like how like you're paying for individual like little bits of clothing for like NBA 2K18 and stuff. Well, Forza Motorsport 7 does something similar to that, and it's for basically a driver you don't even see anywhere while you're racing in real life. It's like your drive character. You can buy little costumes with real money if you choose to. Well, maybe not real money maybe at this point, but it may lead down the line to that. But it's just the fact that you have to use points not only to go forth and change like the character, the way he looks and stuff, like what types of like clothes and stuff, but the worst part about it is you don't even see the character at all while you're driving the game or doing like that, because that's fucking weird. In a driving game, you don't see the driver in a driving game. You go forth, you see the car, but anyway, continue.
No, that's a good point too. I was actually going to lead there eventually with Forza Motorsports, where like they would there's like the special VIP edition you can buy. I think it was like $100, and you get the game 4 days early. It's a Tuesday, you get it on Friday, and you got like double XP for the entirety of the game if you bought this special edition for everything you do. And now I think with this one, it's like you get like only like the first 10 events, you get double XP instead of the entirety of your gameplay time. And that's just like, that's a real kick in the nuts to people buying $100 version are the biggest fans. So you're just really kicking them in the nuts more than anybody with that. And we're just in a weird time where we got to understand that loot boxes are not going away. I mean, someone came out with a report earlier this week, and it was kind of interesting where they talked about GTA 5, GTA Online this last fiscal year generated over $500 million in profit for in microtransactions. This is a 5-year-old game making $500 million, over $500 million in microtransaction profit in sales. EA made $1.3 billion with a B in microtransaction and DLC. That's DLC, season passes, and extra content like Ultimate Team stuff in Madden and FIFA, I think, and now NBA Live has it too. I think last year was like $300 or $400 million raised in that, in just sales like that. Activision made over $3 billion in profits off DLC, microtransactions, loot boxes, things like that. So this ain't going away. This is only going to get bigger. But I think
yes, that's very true.
Yeah, I think it's something we all got to understand, and we all bitch about it, but we all make exceptions for our games that we love. I bought in loot boxes in Overwatch. I spent the money back in the day on NBA 2K. I mean, we all will make reasons for a game that we really like. We're gonna buy them. I bought them in NBA, MLB
That's
The
very
Show.
true.
Like, it sucks. We don't like it, but we always make exceptions. And it's something we all gotta understand, like that this is gonna go away. But we are in a time right now where we can kind of decide what's right and what's not, and what they're gonna get away with and what they can't get away with.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the gaming industry in general, not just the gaming industry, but like the game publishing stuff. You give them like a little bit of leeway with certain things, like say how successful, which there's no doubt that they've profited, like publishers have profited big time from the microtransaction stuff that they put inside their games, and the loot boxes to their whole season passes that they want to go through for content that's not even been created yet. But at the same point, it's just leads up to the idea of like, how did all this money get there to these publishers to begin with these transactions? And that plays mostly to the part of apathetic, like gamers that have gone through, they just don't give a shit. They'll go through their favorite games and stuff. They'll buy what they want, when they feel that they just feel like that they want to get the most bang out of their buck. That's not a problem in terms of, like, say, their enjoyment. I mean, hell, it's their game. They're going to spend money based upon what they want to enjoy, what they want to consume as a consumer. But in hindsight, it's just contributing to the same aspect to what, like, say, how video games, how a lot of it used to be, where it was just a single content that a publisher and developer put out and stuff. That was it. You didn't have anything extra, this and that and stuff. But in terms of how things have gotten, like, say, more expensive for the consumer, because this is what I truly believe. I believe video games have gotten more expensive in terms for the consumer over the years. Yeah. And it's not like, say, like, back in the day where it's just like a single content is like $60, $80 or something like that, or some weird ones if they have memory chips, like, say, close to 100. No, we're talking about $60 games. You buy them brand new, and they feel like, sometimes some of them feel like shells of what they can be, unless you go and you shell out like an extra maybe $25 to $30 for a season pass, which then in of itself ups it up to like about a $90, $100 investment. So overall, even if you go through and splurge on this content, you're not saving anything. Basically, as smart, savvy gamer in this modern 2017, they're going to look at that and they're going to think, okay, I'm not buying this game at launch. Why the hell would I even want to buy a new game at launch? Especially when a year from it, I may even get it for, like, say, $20. Maybe
a year, 6 months, you can get it for 20.
Well, that's the thing.
2 weeks, you can get it for 40.
I know. It's absolutely mind-numbingly ludicrous the way the game industry is at this moment in time, to where big-name companies know that if they don't insert some other types of, like, say, microcosm of, like, even more fees hidden inside these games, either by product placements, either by endorsement deals, or even, like, with even miniature, like, free-to-play microtransactions into even some of the biggest games, I do agree that a lot of these aspects are not going to go away, but at the same time, it's just I feel like that a lot of this is just going to get even more, like, convoluted in terms of things. It's already confusing enough to where you have to buy one of three different versions released of a single game if you want to get the full experience. Hell, if you want to get a full experience of, say, like, the WWE 2K18, which I'm using that as an example because that's the game that's going to be releasing pretty soon, if not already, if you're one of the ones that actually went through and bought the deluxe edition, which, hey, that's your money. Spend what you want to enjoy. Mm-hmm. But I digress. I just really gets me just thinking.
I mean, it's an interesting, like I said, interesting time where we are the generation that's going to decide the future of this. But I heard this from somebody else. I don't want to take credit for it, right. But somebody was saying, I'm going to vote with my wallet. I'm not going to buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. And somebody else spoke up and said, well, I mean, because they don't like the microtransaction, like the loot box, stuff like that. And somebody else made the point is like, well, if you want to buy the game, because they're not going to look at the people when they look at how these sales did on the microtransactions and see if it worked or not. They don't give a shit about the people who didn't buy the game. They're going to look at the people that bought the game. So if you bought the game and didn't pay any money towards the microtransactions, that's going to help in your case. that's going to help us get what we want. I'm not saying go out there and buy every game that has loot boxes.
No,
whether you want
of
to or
course not.
But if it's a game you're interested in getting, still get it. It's fine to get that game. Just don't buy the microtransactions.
Well, exactly the point. Yeah.
It's just, if you really, that's the best way to vote with your wallet, is buy the game that you really want, and then don't support the things you don't like. That's the best way you can do it. Like me personally, like South Park's coming out. I desperately wanted to buy the collector edition. That's $130. Couldn't find it anywhere. And it comes with the season pass, comes with a bunch of other stuff. Came with a couple figurines. They're kind of cool.
Yes.
But I'm buying the $100 edition. I'm getting it for $80 because of the Best Buy reward membership thing. But still, I'm paying the additional money. Comes with season pass. Comes with some extra content right at the beginning. It's a game that I'm super looking forward to. It's a sequel to one of the best games I think that's come out in the last 5 years. So I'm going to support that. I'm buying the season pass. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it's going to have stuff that I want to play more of it. I'm going to be able to play that game again in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 months. We're going to have more content. So if you want to support this thing and it sounds good to you, support it.
Agreed.
I mean, I'm not trying to demonize loot boxes. I mean, overall, when you break it down, it sucks. But like I said, they're not going anywhere. It's just you make the decisions that you want to make. If you're fine with them and you're willing to pay for them, that's fine. Free to play games. I have played free to play games, and I've talked about it before. If it's a game I really like, I throw in $5-10, even if I'm kind of done with the game.
Yeah.
I played this game for 20 hours. Like, here's $10. Thank you. And it also kind of kept me going for a little bit longer too. So there's nothing. If you're okay with it, it's your money, it's your time. Spend the money how you want. Just think about everything before you do it. It's really all I'm saying. You should do that in life in general. But with this case, this is a very sensitive situation in the gaming world, and we just got to learn to compromise. And this is our way of voting. So yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to some video games that we've been playing. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, we really got into that shit.
yeah, it was good. It's the closest thing we can get to video games. Is closest we can get to politics and video gaming is really this. So it's a sensitive issue for a lot of people. Don't Donald Trump this up, people. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Games that we've been playing. Let's talk about games coming out soon. Let's talk about some games that we have been playing. You mentioned you played a few new games, so
yes, I have.
Tell us about them.
Before I get into the new games, I just want to say quickly, just for like a few minutes, I did finish Pokemon Diamond last Sunday.
Oh, nice.
But in aspect of doing so, I went forth and probably had one of my most heated Pokemon matches that I've ever had in terms of like a final boss, a final endgame stuff. Now, about a week or so ago on this podcast, I talked about my ordeal going through the Pokemon Trainer Red at the end of Pokemon Gold. But for this playthrough and stuff with my playthrough of Pokemon Diamond, I literally had one of the more epic battles in facing Cynthia again, with not only an underleveled team, but it literally came down to 2 of her Pokemon, 2 of mine. I literally was facing down a Garchomp and a Melodic. The Garchomp is extra powerful because it knows moves that are like Giga Impact, which that's a high power move and stuff. But basically, I switched between a couple of different Pokemon that I have, my Gastrodon and I think my Bronzong. So 2 of the Pokemon that I basically have used for the first time going through this playthrough, and it literally came down to me healing up my Bronzong so it can absorb hits after, like, with Giga Impact and, like, Brick Break and all this other stuff. These powerful moves and all these other things. And what ended up happening was, as soon as I was able to go through and take out her Garchomp eventually, man, her Melodic was just like easy pickings pretty much, because I basically, after going through that, I had my Bronzong learn the move Grass Knot, which is a grass type move and affects the Pokemon based upon how much it weighs, pretty much. So for Melodic and stuff, it weighed quite a decent amount, so it was able to like get off like about like quarter of the energy out of each like hit that I did. And so finally, after about 15 minutes of playing this one Pokemon match, just the most intense, probably ending to a Pokemon game that I've experienced in quite a long time, if ever. I finally win the battle. My first time through the Elite Four and against the champion with this playthrough, I did it all in one go. And that's something that I'm incredibly proud of. I didn't do that with my gold playthrough. I lost to the Dark-type user, Karen, in the Elite Four before I faced off against Lance and stuff. So for me to go through with my team and basically win it with a couple Pokemon I've never even used before, that made it even more better. As that is, with all that speaking though, as soon as I was done with that, I pretty much have made it a point where I am not playing a single Pokemon game until the release of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Because I just went through the past couple months playing 3 Pokemon games almost simultaneously. I am fucking done with this for a month. With that said, I have started 3 different games. 3 different games, all of which have come out this year. The one that I've played the least out of them, Destiny 2. Destiny 2 I have played. I have gone through at least around close to about 45 minutes, played through the opening section. I went through and got all the powers back. Basically, if you have not played Destiny 2 since it's already been out for a month, I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil a little bit of something going right here. So, by going through the beginning portions of the game and stuff, I basically got my Titan powers back, obviously, by finding this one, like, that shard inside of, like, oh man, it's either on Earth or some place that's like Earth or something.
It's in the European Dead Zone.
Yeah, it's in the European Dead Zone. So that's where I'm at right at the moment, where I just got my things back. I just connected to the online thing, like, with other people for the first time, and I got to admit, that opening section for Destiny 2 outclasses any story progression that did Destiny 1, which was little to nothing at all. Maybe a few tidbits here and there, most of the stuff you had to read online. Boring. Not a fan of that. Go through the Destiny 2, the beginning part of that, and all of a sudden, like, have character after character that I've not only seen from the original game, but actually have more emphasis on focus with, like, I think, gosh, what's the enemy in this one? Basically, the
Cabal.
Basically,
Yeah, Cabal.
it's just like a leader of the Cabal that you're facing off against, pretty much. I gotta admit, it makes me want to play that even more. I must admit, the gameplay is still great. The Titan powers actually feel much better in terms of, like, what you can do. I love the aspect where my characters that I created inside the original Destiny ported over relatively almost flawlessly, the way they looked and stuff. They had, like, the ceremonial armor, so it's like, if I ever wanted to, I could actually keep continuing on playing with those characters, which is fantastic. I love how they carried that over.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been anything bad I could say about the game. Surprisingly, so far, I've kind of enjoyed my experience. You know? I haven't seen anything wrong yet. I still got plenty more stuff to play from Destiny 2, but from what I've have endured, I've enjoyed. Now let's go on to the next game, and this one is probably going to surprise you, Tyler. I went forth and I bought Cuphead on Steam.
Oh,
Not
okay.
only did I buy Cuphead on Steam, but I've already spent an hour and I'm already past the first world.
What?
Yes.
How?
How? I don't know
Tell me
how.
your secret.
I'll tell you this right now. This
is
game
bullshit.
reminds me so much of my youth. I absolutely love the gameplay of this game. When I went forth,
Fuck.
dude, that flower boss, that freaking, like, airplane boss and stuff, the blob, the freaking frogs, dude, the whole boss thing with the frogs and stuff,
God.
man, that was awesome.
Those frogs took me like an hour and a half. I hate you so much right now, Gables. You ruined beer for me, and now you ruined Cuphead for me.
Dude,
This is the worst
those
podcast ever.
I don't understand how it took you an hour to get to the frogs.
They're so hard. The last part with the slot machines is insane. Oh my!
I'll tell
I
you
spent
what.
7 hours in this game, and I beat 3 bosses in World 2. That's as far as I got.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So basically, what I did though, it's like the longest that it took me to actually go through. I think it must have been like maybe 10 minutes, possibly.
Oh,
But that
fuck
was
you.
that was with the airplane boss and stuff that transforms into a fucking moon. That crescent moon was awesome.
Honestly, that was the easiest boss to me. That one took me a few minutes. It
Yeah.
took me like 3 or 4 tries, but the rest of them were like the potato corn one. I thought was actually fairly easy too. The rest of them, oh no.
Oh man, the
No.
flower one was actually pretty cool too because it's like it's
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, it's like once I got to the checkpoint and stuff, the music plays for the Dice Man. It's like, oh my fucking
Oh,
god,
yeah.
that is so amazing.
Yes, the best music in gaming history. I want to go to orchestra of the Cuphead music.
Oh my god,
Just to actually just play the Dice King music for like 3 hours straight. I'd be cool with that.
dude, it was so funny. You just hear the lyrics of it's like, it's the Dice Man, the Devil's right hand man. It's like, oh my god, that was so cool. And not only that, but like the running gun levels really felt like something.
Bullshit.
They really felt like something that was taken out of something like a Contra, because
Yeah.
this is immediately how I feel when playing, like when I played Cuphead. Is it feels like a great mix, not only of like the aesthetic of the old 1930s, 1940s, like say black and white cartoons, but also it feels like a classic mix between Contra, between like other like action platforming games. Oh gosh, say like a Final Fight or almost similar to that, but this is definitely the type of experience I was not expecting coming in this year. I thought that Cuphead was going to be the type of game where it's probably going to get good review scores or something like that. There's going to be a niche amount of people that are going to love playing this game. When I bought this game and I started playing it, I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking incredible. Everything about this game feels awesome from the get-go. The controls are tight. They are not gimmicky. They are not like stiff. They feel right. It's almost sort of like a Mario game style of like control in terms of platforming. With that, then and of that said and stuff, the difficulty inside Cuphead, yeah, there are portions of this game that can be difficult. They can be difficult.
No.
But then again, it's like I'm pretty much in past the first world. The game is going to get even more difficult as I progress, which, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I mean, hell, I accept that. I mean, fuck. Going through the different patterns and then just, like, recognizing that's something I haven't done in years and stuff in terms of, like, the Super Nintendo games that I play, the NES, all this other... Oh, man, it's just that type of difficulty I've actually missed playing games like Cuphead, in terms of that. But,
I'm gonna start my own podcast, like side podcast now that you're not invited on, where we're gonna talk about how terrible cinnamon flavored things are, Cuphead and Unravel are.
Oh my god!
It's just gonna be a podcast every week about those 3 things.
Oh my god! I remember you doing something like, oh god, the last time, Tyler, you talked about a game that you really didn't enjoy and like I kind of quit as soon after was kind of like Bloodborne.
Yeah, couldn't even beat the first enemy.
Oh my gosh. But there was one more game that I did play, and that was Metroid: Samus Returns.
Oh,
I got Metroid. So, here's a funny story. I went through the first hour and a half of Metroid, Metroid 2 remake and stuff. I played a lot of the different things. I've encountered some of these Metroid enemies where you have to like time your counters and stuff with the melee moves. Which, let me say something for a second. The counter move inside this game is actually not so bad. It's really fun to just, when an enemy goes after you or something like that, you know exactly when to counter because the little thing kind of flashes a bit, like a split second, and then you press the X button and stuff, and you just slap them out and just start blasting them and stuff. That feels really good. But inside of the game, there's an element that you can use when you acquire the bomb. Now, the bomb jumping is something that's been prevalent in most, if not most Metroid games, barring the original. But I'm not 100% sure, so Metroid fans don't chastise me. But bomb jumping inside Metroid Samus Returns is incredibly easy. And what I mean by incredibly easy, there were particular parts inside this game where I basically went to backtrack. About an hour and a half in, I backtracked. I used this bomb jumping method to go ahead and see if I could go I basically tried to see where I needed to go. And when I did that, I bomb jumped over this particular wall that was left of my spaceship. I got over there, and basically what ended up happening was I got myself trapped at the bottom of this canyon with almost literally no way to progress other than, by bomb jumping. So I was literally trapped for a couple of days of this past week where I literally could not progress because there was this kind of triple I creature that was on this door and stuff that I can't even get past. There were elements where I could not progress to another direction because there's these crystal-like shards that I gotta use something else to break through. Basically, there was a couple different weapons that I needed in order to progress through this area. But here's the funny part about it. This afternoon, I managed to figure out how to get out of the thing. So what I did is I simultaneously went ahead and I started bomb jumping up this canyon. So I'm trying to use these advanced techniques to not only get myself... I got myself in this mess to begin with by using these bomb jumping methods. And now I got myself out by basically going through using the bomb jumps. I killed this damn creature that was this flying bat-like creature with a long-ass tongue. I basically killed this thing because every time I tried to escape, it kept hitting me down the damn canyon. So, basically, I came within 5 minutes of just resetting the game and starting a new save file. But, I didn't. I came up with a strategy. I bomb jumped to a certain extent, and I just literally covered the damn creature and just bombed the fuck out of it. Until I just finally got it off the screen. And I got only so much time before that thing respawned, so I went back to the bottom of this canyon, bomb jumped my way out of the canyon after my 50th attempt, and I got myself out of of a potentially game-breaking scenario. I don't know how I did it, but I actually ended up going through, getting myself out of there, and continuing on the game like normal. And not only just that, but now I'm basically exploring my third sector. I've already beaten around, I want to say, 4 or 5 different Metroids. So how the Metroid creatures sort of work is they inhabit these different creatures. And so what I've been facing off so far have been inhabiting these sort of flying creatures to the extent where they hatch. Basically, they trap this creature. They just basically kill it, and the remnants of the Metroid just goes and just delves into the creature's dead body and sort of uses it sort of like a host body, so it gets even more pissed and stuff like that when you face it. And the main crux of it, it's you gotta use this counter just exactly right in order to do massive damage to it, using your missiles, using your things and that and stuff. Another thing that's really cool is you can actually use the spider ball inside this game. Dude, this game has all the classic Metroid weapon power-ups and stuff. The spider ball I have not used since Metroid Prime. That is so cool because you can actually latch on to the rock formations and the metal the metal portions of the wall. There's only a couple different things you can't really climb up on, and this type of goop or something that's on the ceilings and stuff that you can't really go over. But dude, this game is freaking fantastic so far, and I'm absolutely loving it. So other than that though, yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Well, so if there was ever a debate, it's officially over. Gables is better than me in video games. And in the time,
Oh,
he was
God.
talking about how much better he was, bragging about how he's better than me in video games. I have opened up another cinnamon beer, so
Oh my God! It's to that point where he's now just drinking this beer, just trying to forget.
Yep. So that's my life now. Anyways, I don't even know. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Well, I'm playing. I talked about it earlier in the show. Game called Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
I'm only playing it on normal because I'm not nearly as good at video games as Gables is.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm playing Evil Within 2. You've been listening to the show for a long time. Back for a few years or so, I loved Evil Within 1. Remember initially, and the first time I talked about when I played it, only the first couple hours, I didn't like it, and then when I played it actually on Extra Life 2014, I played it for a bunch, and fell in love with it during that time, and ended up being, I think, I want to say like 5th or 6th of my game of the year that year.
Yeah.
Maybe higher, a little higher. But a really good game. Had a little janky at times. Story was, but really good. Kind of set a really good base for a potentially really good franchise. And I was a little concerned. I didn't know how well it sold and if it was a disappointment or not. I knew it sold pretty well, but I didn't know if it was considered well enough for a sequel. And I didn't know if we ever get another one. And lo and behold, E3 2017, goddamn, we got one. And it's finally out now. So I want to say like I've about 8 hours into this game now. I've been playing non-stop pretty much since I got the game. I'm on chapter 12. Yeah, chapter 12. I feel like I'm getting close to the end. At one point I thought I actually was at the end, and I was like, oh no, there's a whole other section of this game. But it feels like it's kind of like it's got that Assassin's Creed 2 kind of feel to it, or first game was kind of here's what we're doing, and then like the second one's like, all right, what we're gonna take that and we're gonna expand on it. We're gonna take what worked well and we're gonna build on the top of that.
Oh.
And that's what it feels like they did in this game, where Evil Within 1 was a very linear game, which nothing wrong with that. I mean, I almost prefer those linear games over a lot of open world games. And this one. So kind of the main story is you play as Sebastian. I don't know why I can't say that word very well. Sebastian Castiglione, I think is his last name. But he was a character from the first one, and in the first game he goes to like this Beacon mental hospital, and he gets sucked into this like kind of like, I guess like the best way to describe it is like the Matrix, called the Stem, and it's this like alternate reality kind of thing, and it's like a lot of crazy shit happens. Someone's like taking it over. It kind of does whatever the hell they want to do with their mind, and see a lot of horror in that game. And this one, I think it's 3 years later, and he's still dealing with the effects his daughter's death, Lily. And this is all everything I'm going to say in the next couple minutes is in the first like cutscene of the game, first 20-30 minutes. So in this one, he's dealing with the death of his daughter, and these people find him. And he comes to find out that actually his daughter is not dead. This Mobius, I believe is how you pronounce it, is this company that actually is like running the Stem, the Matrix basically, and they are using they faked her death, Lily's death. She's a little girl, so because I guess she's like incredibly smart, and her mind can actually kind of run the Stem, the Matrix essentially, and he's going in there. Something went wrong, and they lost contact with her, and they sent a team in there after her to make things right, and they lost contact with him too. So they sent him in there to basically get his daughter back, and also get their people back and fix everything. And kind of jumps in there, and everything has gone awry. It's just like the first one, where a lot of zombie-like creatures are back, a lot of big enemies, a lot of big bosses in the game. Not the big boss, but big bosses. And the big changes in this one is, at least in the first good chunk of the game, is I don't want to say open world, but you're in open environments where, like I said, the first one was very linear and just kind of follow the path. And this one actually, like, it drops, like, so basically the Stem is like this fake little small town they made called the Union. and kind of it's only a couple square blocks, but you get dropped off into this little town, and you can go around and go inside like actual houses and stuff like that. You can investigate, you can find, and a big thing with this game is like crafting and earning this green gel you get from like killing enemies, or you can find it throughout the world, throughout the game, and you can like upgrade your skill tree, and you can craft to make weapons and health items, things like that, and power up your weapons and stuff like that. And this one, I feel like it almost, you don't think you necessarily have to, but the more you explore in this game, the better you are in this game. I feel like you're going to be the more easier you're going to make it for yourself. And just exploring this and like reading about the town and reading about some of the characters you find, like you'll bump into other characters in the game, like real actual characters that were sent in there to fix everything, and learning more about their backstory and learning what happened before you got there, more about the company that is running this. The story overall in this one makes a lot more sense, and I find the kind of the backstory stuff behind it really interesting. Just finding notes, newspaper articles, things like that, and yeah, it's all, I think, pretty interesting. And I like going around, like you find these houses, and there's actually like side missions, side quests you can do in this game, and you can find other people. You can, like, there's this weird witch thing you can find that's all like side quest stuff. That like drops you off in this weird like weird events. But yeah, it's really cool. I like all that. Like when I first heard about that being a thing, and when I first like started playing, I'm like, I don't know if I want. Like I like Evil Within 1 for what it was, but turned out like just wandering around this world and like trying to like it's a lot of sneaking in this game. Like you gotta be smart, because this game, the first game was really rough about ammo and like health and things like that.
Yeah.
This one's a lot more lenient on it, and I think that being in the open environment helps that. Like I am definitely upgrading my weapons and my skill tree a lot faster than I did in the first game, and I think that's just due to me exploring a lot more. But the trying to be smart. You want, like, when's a good time to fight, when's a good time not to. And this game is incredibly challenging when you because you'll find like a pack of these zombie-like creatures, and like fighting two of them at a time can be difficult. But then you'll find a pack of like 3 or 4 of them. Then you'll find like there's like a one step above those zombies. It's a little more powerful, a little faster. And you're like, ooh, like this isn't gonna go well for me. I've died a lot in this game, just because Gables is better than me. In this game, just trying to do a little more than I maybe capable of, especially in that time, especially in the beginning of the game. This game is incredibly tough because they don't have a lot of ammo, and you're still trying to learn the ropes of the game, and learning what you can and can't do. But it's it's really cool. I like all that, and then just kind of like going into the world, and like the main boss, like the main enemy I found in this game, Stefiano, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah.
He's like this weird artist type of guy, wears a purple suit, takes pictures, and his big thing he does is like he's kind of the one that's like making the world go crazy. Is he likes to take pictures of people the moment they die. So he'll kill somebody and take a picture of them as they die. He reminds me of, like, remember the boss from BioShock that takes pictures of, like, after he kills people?
Yeah.
And he posts their pictures everywhere? He's like almost that.
Ugh.
Like almost like he's almost like, it almost feels like almost a carbon copy off of that in a way. This game, it's incredibly fun. Like I said, I put 8 hours in this game already in the first, I don't know, 36 hours or so I had the game, and I'm gonna probably play more of it after we're done recording. But I was really hyped for this game, and like I said earlier in the show, like this is a year where every big game is living up to the hype, and this game has lived up to the hype and it surpassed it in every way imaginable to me. I want to beat this game before South Park comes out, because I'm worried that once South Park comes out, like nothing comes before South Park to me,
right?
As far as video games go, so I'm worried that, like, if I don't get this done, I don't know if I will get this done, but not because this isn't a good game or anything, but yeah, this is a fantastic game. And if you're somebody like me that loved Resident Evil 4 from 2 generations ago, or Dead Space from the generation before that, this is probably the best and only way you're gonna find anything like that. And this is a really good example of what those kind of games are they could be in 2017. So if you're a big fan of that, I would recommend finding like a YouTube video or something like that and look up the backstory from the first game, because they do to have a lot of characters from that. They do talk a lot about the first game, but you really could just jump into this game for the most part, and be okay. Like, you're not going to understand everything, but 90% of this you don't need to know anything about. Like, a lot of that they go over in the beginning of the game. So yeah, two big huge thumbs up for me. Incredible game. Like I said, I'm going to play more of that here soon.
Awesome.
And yeah, I love it. I'm sure if Gables was playing it, he would have beat it 6 times already. I'm just simple old Tyler, you know. Yeah, but yeah, great game. Anyways, love you, Gables. Anyways, I'm gonna take a drink of my Fireball beer real quick.
So it's definitely better than the original, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah. Everything about this, something I forgot to mention, actually, there is some jank to this game.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as the first game, but they're like, I've had issues where like I'd be on a ledge above an enemy, like trying to get away from him. I hop on a ledge, and he'd actually like clip through the ledge.
Wow.
And just walk right through it and come in and attack me and kill me. And I've had cases where I walk around, like the frame rate will drop here and there. And then also I had a couple occasions actually, where like I go to the thing I like to do was like shoot an enemy in the leg, and he'll fall down and I'll stomp him. Kind of like, it's like a Resident Evil 4 type of thing, and Dead Space is the same way. And there's been a few occasions where like an enemy's walking towards me, but their legs aren't visible. Like, they have no legs, but they're walking towards me. Like, the animation of them walking is happening, but the actual physical legs you cannot see. And I try to shoot them, and they're not there. And they're not hovering. They're just, the legs are missing.
I see.
It's the glitch. That's minor. Like, it's few and far between. Yeah, man, it's so much better than the first one. I would say play the first one because it's really good, and if you're not, like, put it on easy maybe if you want to. But yeah, just to fly through it. But you can find it cheap now. I've seen it on sale for like $5 several times.
Oh, so someone like, say, who has probably never played the series or something before, you would probably recommend them just to play the first one, like first or something.
I mean, I'd recommend it because it's a really good game, and also for the story's sake. But you don't necessarily have to. If you just want to jump into this one, you're more than welcome to do so.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's all, like I said, it's awesome. Happy to be back in that world, as scary and as dreadful as I feel the entire time I play the game. And the boss battles are excellent too. It makes sense. It reminds me of like old school Resident Evil, because the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was like basically the creator of Resident Evil 4. Is the creator of Evil Within, the director of Evil Within games. So makes all the sense in the world that this is basically this generation's Resident Evil 4 games, like the evolution of those games. So yeah, if you love those games, I mean, you should definitely check this out, because it's basically just the 2014, 2017 editions of those games.
Awesome.
So yeah, yes. But it's time to head on out of here. That's the end of the show for the week. Before we get out here, if you guys want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It is Drunk Nerds Podcast. So like and join us on there. Give at least a review on there as well. On YouTube, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us, like our videos. Our podcast goes up on there. Same with iTunes, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us on there. Leave us a 5-star review. If you leave a comment, I'll shout you out. On Twitch, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there. Send us a friend request. We like friends. Friends are cool. We're friends. Gables and I are friends. Oh, yeah. And we'd like for you to be our friend too. Join us. That sounds a little creepy. Sorry. And then also, I'm forgetting one, ain't I? Oh boy, Twitter. We are at Drunk Nerds Pod. So follow us on there. One place we go to whenever the show goes up, it goes up there immediately. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next week, listeners, play yourself something good. Play yourself something nice. And overall, just have yourself a good time.
Yes. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Wait. Yeah, do that. Just eat ham, actually. Ham's good. I like ham. You ever had a rum ham? Rum ham sounds really good.
Rum ham.
It's like a ham baked in rum.
Ham. Rum ham. Anyway, let's go.
Bye, guys. Have yourself a rum ham. Excuse me. You too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.